drive to Alaska before I get
My
to
head's getting
Memphis.
slow, yeah. Because I'm like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
What the heck did I jump into, right?
Yeah, whatever could I jump into?
All right. Well,
We all
I don't
had
know.
some THC before we came on.
Oh, no,
That's how I made it.
we are live right now. Do not say that kind
Oh,
of thing. we got
We're
you
live.
on.
We're not
we got you-
Memorex.
yeah. Live on Memorex.
Only thing I've had is Pepsi Max. I've had 3 cans.
Oh no! That's not good. Anyways, welcome guys. We're starting a little early this evening because we've been having wonderful conversation about what's going on in the world today in the pre-chat. So we figured we just turn everything on live and go start now. So we got Mr. F&H who's first out there. We'll get more people as we go on. I do
he's
know never
first and only.
Never Enough Ammo's doing something tonight too. I don't know what and why. He just feeling like doing something. So watch out for that. But we're gonna
Collectible lizard dolls.
We're gonna continue on doing what we're doing, and we might jump over there after we're done if he's still going. So there's that. Let's see.
You got a frog in your pocket?
Yes, I've got a frog in my pocket.
You said we are going to step over there.
I am. When I say we, I mean the royal we, as in me.
Oh.
Is it one of those gay frogs?
Well, no. We don't talk about those.
I have a gay frog in my pocket.
You talk about gay frogs Sunday night on Eat Honest Channel.
Don't want a gay frog in your throat.
No, you do not, because there's something in the water that turns them gay.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
It depends on who you ask.
Just a disclaimer. Sorry.
So the disagreeable panel I have with me this evening is an interesting group. So let's go through the room. Apparently, we've got our resident Brit here tonight again. Richard, what's going on, buddy?
Not too bad, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah, no, good. I'm on late shift this week, so this fits in quite well.
Have you seen the movie The Courier, Richard?
No.
It's good. You gotta watch it.
How about the Transporter?
Yeah, I've seen the Transporter. Yeah, I like the first one really real good.
Yeah, I like the first one really well because I had the same cell phone that guy had. The Motorola.
Are you saying Transformers or what did you say?
The Transporter.
Oh, I thought you said Transformer. I was like, God.
It was either Transporter or it was one of the other ones. But one where he had the Motorola Q phone, and I had one of those. So.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, Tony, what's going on?
You just made me laugh by saying Q phone. Is that how you call QAnon?
No. Before the advent of smartphones, Motorola made like a BlackBerry ripoff called the Motorola Q.
I had a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I couldn't afford a BlackBerry.
Some model of a BlackBerry. It was one of the first ones that had onboard GPS, believe it or not, because before that, I had to buy the little GPS module and put it in my glove compartment. That was like 1992 or something.
I still have my Blackberries. I can bust them out if you guys want to see them.
Awesome.
I've got mine somewhere in a box.
Yeah. They were good. They were good phones at the time.
But you remember when they didn't have onboard GPS and then that like
But see, the thing is that this Motorola Q, it only had EVDO 1 internet. It didn't have 1G.
Okay,
Back
phone
in the
salesman.
day. Back in the day. Travis, what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm just eating dinner. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm about fixing to do that in a second myself.
All right, man. No, man. Appreciate the invite, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. George,
Hey.
how's Brownsville tonight?
Good. Sunny, partly cloudy. Hopefully get some rain tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Going good. Thanks for having me.
Warsaw, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. I might be doing a project in the next couple of months.
Oh, nice.
What kind of project?
Why do you need to know?
Well, you just gonna say that and not tell us what kind of?
You're gonna tease us like that,
What-
not say anything, Warsaw? Come on.
Is it
Yes.
When he says project, I want to know, is it legal?
That's a very good point.
It's
it illegal?
It's legal. It's legal.
All right.
So I'm gonna take
It's
a
wood.
stab.
It's made
It's a
of wood.
woodworking project, right?
Yes, correct.
I'm getting ready to buy the Lot Max what's it called? A LotMax 3D printer. It's a 3D printer and a laser thingamabob too.
A laser printer?
No, well, laser engraver.
Laser engraver. Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Let me know which one you get. So
What do you mean? It's a dual. It has both heads. You plop them on and off. You put the. That's what's cool about it. And
I'm
it'll do
asking
two colors.
when you buy it, let me know which one you got, so I know which one to get myself.
It's, LotMax, the new
Hey,
2BD or whatever.
Hey,
All right, so
Night Trick, I gotta say something before you start.
Mhm.
Thanks to you, now I want to get something that's Chinese. Thanks to you.
Get a Chinese Tokarev.
No. No.
My girlfriend.
No, hell no. What
Your
am I,
next,
Eric
your next
Swalwell?
meal, your next dinner.
Well, as long as she's not a spy, I wouldn't mind a Chinese.
No, I'm thinking about getting a Chinese chest rig. For the EKs or the Type 81 they used.
Oh, come on, man. That's
No,
fine.
sweet.
What do you mean? Have you ever seen those spies? They're very good looking. All the
Yeah,
good
hey,
looking
I'm not-
ones.
I have to
I'm
agree
not-
with Tony on that. Absolutely.
I'm not into Asian women.
We'll talk to you about that later. We'll fix you
No.
up.
I hear you. I hear you. Asian women nag. I know because my grandmother was.
Sorry, I'm more European.
Oh, I know you're peeing.
I love Asian women. You just don't piss them off because
We all came from the same
You
rock.
want to yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I know you're peeing, but that's besides the point. All right. Anyways, enough of the jokes. But we got some interesting topics tonight. We are going to be going over some of the shit that's happening in Afghanistan. But
Here we go.
I know. I'm getting tired of it too. But I figure we go over it because some of the stuff pisses me off, and I wanted to mention. Hold on. Okay. Let's first off, we're not going to get into it first. Okay, we're going to go over some of the other stuff I saw. So, for those that didn't know, North Carolina governor vetoes bill that would have eliminated gun purchase permits. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is on record saying gun permit laws reduce gun homicides and suicide and reduce the availability of guns for criminal activity. At a time of rising gun violence, we can't afford to repeal a system that works to save lives. No, it doesn't.
Bullshit.
The legislator should focus on combating gun violence instead of making it easier for guns to end up in the wrong hands. And that's basically what he said on that and why he vetoed it. And I got to tell you, no one can tell me that North Carolina is the better of the Carolinas now because of that right there. I mean, you got so far, and then you got that. So, I mean, did they? I haven't been following it too much, so I don't know if they have enough votes to override his veto.
Mhm.
But if they don't, then North Carolina just got screwed. They just got screwed over. So I just wanted to get that out there for people.
So I'll be honest, I'm a little confused because you said he vetoed gun purchase permits. Why would you want gun purchase permits?
In North Carolina, you cannot purchase a handgun without a written permission slip from the local.
That's a problem. Why would you not want that vetoed?
And he vetoed the bill that removed that.
Oh,
my
that
God.
removed it. Okay.
That removed it.
So this is kind of like it's something in New York, basically.
So basically, well, for anyone that doesn't know, that the North Carolina's governor is a Democrat. So the lieutenant governor, we've all seen that Mark what was it, Robinson or something like that. Where he went on about don't tell me, you're doing this for gun violence when you're taking it away from me. But again, North Carolina just yep. They didn't get rid of the pistol purchase permits, unfortunately. So sucks.
Well, I mean, Nebraska, we have the same thing too. If you want to buy a handgun, whether it's private or if it is through an FFL, you have to have the pistol purchase permit, which is ridiculous because you're already going to go through a background check to buy the gun anyway. You have to go to your local sheriff's office and apply it. So one thing I hate about our state law with guns, I think it's ridiculous. Because I remember they were complaining about the system getting backlogged when there was, people panic buying guns and they were.
Travis, I just got your text message now.
Yeah. Oh, it's all good, man. So I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't think and like I said, being in Nebraska, and I share the sentiment. If you have your concealed carry permit, that will double as your carry permit. But the fact that I have to have a permit to carry something I'm already constitutionally entitled to have doesn't make any sense to me anyway. So
I don't like having to have a permit to buy something. Because here in South Carolina, you can buy whatever the hell you want, provided you can pass the 4473 or you have a CWP. To weapons permit. But apparently in North Carolina, unless you get the okay from the local law enforcement, the answer is no go.
See, I don't understand. What do they actually do? Are they just getting your name on a list? Are they actually running a background check on you ahead of time? Or are they
it's a
just
tax? I mean,
yeah. I mean, what do they actually do with it aside from just make you get it? Do they really take the time and call you in like on a FBI background check or something like they do here for concealed carry permit? Yeah.
No, it's just another way of registration, more or less.
And I remember here they were complaining because they said, oh, it's because we had such a backlog. It was costing them money in overtime to have to pay employees to have to run these background checks and stuff to get to file the paperwork to get the pistol purchase permits out. And they're like, oh, we're going to have to raise the cost because I'm not for it at all, but it's only like, I want to say $7 or $8 and it's good for 3 years. I don't think we need them, but they were going to jack the price up to like $40 or $60. And people are like, well, no, that's ridiculous, So it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, but in North Carolina, you got to get a permit per handgun you buy. It's per handgun, not just.
Oh, that's even worse, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to complain now. Okay.
No. So that's why I wanted to mention it. I don't like it, but I don't want people telling me, oh, because we got constitutional carry or something, we're the better state when we can't get rid of pistol purchase permits.
So you got to get the permit before you can go to the gun store to buy the gun, or can you buy the gun, get the permit, and wait for it to pass?
Nope, you got to get the permit first.
Do they have to know what you're going to buy specifically?
No, you just have to get the authorization.
It's just like a friggin' ticket, like an airplane ticket. Here, take it to fly wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's how much do these cost anyway? How much are they?
I don't know. I've never looked up how much it was. I mean, I wish Sarge was around because he could tell us, because Sarge signs off on it.
Now, is that permit only designed to go for one handgun per purchase, or is it for just multiple?
I think it's one handgun per purchase.
oh, they'll be like Nebraska. They'll get used to it and say it's no big deal. It's only $7 or $8.
I think it's one handgun per purchase. I'm not sure.
No, we're not for it. We just can't get the damn permit thing to be taken away. It's like
I know, but when I heard you say that, I thought that's how we become conditioned, right? Oh, it's no big deal. It's just $7 or $8.
Yeah, no, it's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, it's just a scam tax, really.
Yeah. It's just another tax and a way to register.
It doesn't do anything. It's just another way of getting a few dollars out of it for the government.
It's not like they don't tax enough in either state. I'll tell you that. Right.
I wonder what the penalty is if you defend yourself and you don't have that. I guess it's just that's not a felony if it's a state law, right?
The permit's only for purchase. It doesn't do anything for self-defense.
Yeah.
My point is, if you don't have that permit, if you buy a gun just from your neighbor and you defend yourself with it, I wonder what the penalty is for not having that permit.
Right.
That's a legality issue GOA have to talk about. That's a legality issue that GOA have to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the law would actually equivalent.
Well, I wasn't asking you, Mr. Warsaw Patriot.
No, I'm just.
I was being rhetorical. I was basically putting it out there into the interwebs.
Of course, sure. Just like you believe aliens exist.
Since I'm not up to date on North Carolina laws, guys, if there's anybody out there in the chat that's in North Carolina that can clear some of this up so we know exactly what the pistol purchase permit does and whether it covers multiple guns or just the singular one, could you let us know? And also let us know what they make you pay for those, because I don't know, and because I live in South Carolina, I can just go out and buy it. I don't have to get a permission slip, so I'd like to know. So we have the proper information. I don't want us giving out bad information, so that's why we're asking.
Yeah.
All right.
$5 permits to buy Handguns in North Carolina must be obtained from the sheriff in the county that you reside. The cost is $5. Gun purchase permit application must be complete online and will be processed on normal business days, Monday through Friday. Google is your friend.
Google is your friend.
Until it's not.
Until it's not, because Tony, there have been times where Google has not been your friend, and I've had to come in and save you. I remember that. I remember those phone calls, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Not your fault, though. Not your fault. But yeah, so that's what's going on in North Carolina. What else? I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently European American Arms announced that they've partnered with Gerson to make the MCP-35, which is basically a Browning high-power clone. Let me open up an image of it because you remember like I think it was like either last year or sometime this year, Browning decided to cancel
yeah, they did it a couple of years ago.
Or a couple of years ago, I guess it was. Browning got rid of the high power line, and I'm like, why would you do that? But here I'm going to screen share. This is what it looks like.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's not bad.
that doesn't look that bad. I'm not a fan of the warning manual on the side, but I mean, what can you do? But
what's up with the high power?
It hasn't got the it hasn't got the cancer warning label on either.
No, it doesn't have the cancer warning. That may only be the California version.
Yeah.
What's the MSRP on these?
The MSRP. We are getting to that. The MSRP they said will be, I think it's like $5.99.
The grips are kind of different.
Yeah, the grips are a little different, but I'm pretty sure you could probably just put normal Browning grips.
So that was a Browning
they said the
high
MSRP
made
is
by
going to be
who?
$5.28. What's going on, Foos?
Who's making that?
EAA.
Oh, okay.
They partnered with Gerson to bring back the high power. So they're
I wonder if it's original World War II machinery.
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh,
they could have gotten it from Belgium. They could have gotten it. They could have got new machinery to make it. You never know.
Hey, Night Strike, what if I told you this? Canada still uses that as their sidearm still.
Yeah,
I know. But good luck trying to import any Canadian gun in the United States these days.
Yeah,
Half of them are banned.
There's a few places that still use it.
So, but again, it's nice to see that another company is trying to bring high powers back into the country.
Are you talking about the 1911 in general, or a specific model of 1911 that they still use?
The high power.
The high power.
Oh, the high power. Okay.
High power. Because we're staying on topic. Anyways, so they said it's $5.28 is the MSRP. They haven't said when they're going to release them. Probably sometime later this year. But
That's cheap.
But it's nice to see that someone's doing something, because Browning's not. That's for sure.
Yeah. The last Browning ones were made in Portugal.
Yeah, I mean, I would really, really like a high power. So I'm just saying.
Does Browning still make pistols?
No, I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. I think they stopped. When they stopped doing the high power, they stopped.
Yeah, they still had the buck mark and things, but I don't think.
It's a 22 though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the buck mark.
But I was about to say, but is that really a pistol?
Yeah.
Well, if you get shot one in the butt with one, let me know if it's a real pistol or not.
I got enough junk in the trunk. It's almost bulletproof to a 22.
It's not bulletproof, Boost. You will feel it.
No.
Oh, I didn't say I wouldn't feel it. I'm just saying it's almost bulletproof. I got so much junk in the trunk.
Browning made a 380 this past couple of years. A little 1911 380, yeah.
So they canceled the high power and switched over to that.
Now, here's a hard question. Would you take a CZ75 over a high power any day?
Yes.
Well, Boost would. I want a high power just because.
No, I'd take a high power.
CZ any day.
Power.
Well, I'd get a CZ75 anyway, but a CZ75 is a copy of a high power.
Well,
Improved.
it's an evolutionary step from the high power.
Yeah.
Because you have the double action, single action, where the high power is single action only.
They're similar, but they're not the same.
And the slides operate inside the frame instead of the frame operating the slide.
Right.
Correct.
So, but there's some gun news, and apparently there's more P320 lawsuits going on right now. I don't know if you heard about it, but apparently the latest of these suits was filed last week in the U.S. District Court in Massachusetts. Oh, good. A masshole. It alleges that Walter Collette Jr., a police officer with the Somerville, Massachusetts Police Department, was wounded when his P320 duty gun discharged without a trigger pull. He was carrying it in a gym bag, wrapped carefully with a cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Officer Collette was wounded in his left leg. Well, there you go.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
I believe it's bullshit too. Now everyone knows about the 320. The fact that the M17 is basically the 320 with a manual safety, and in some northern states you have to have a P320 with a manual safety. I forget which state, but they're required to. And in 2017, SIG had a voluntary upgrade program to fix a lot of the problems with the P320 because of the whole hammer situation. Everybody saw that, but no, I wouldn't put a hammer in any of my case.
AKA, what they did is lighten the trigger, lighten the physical trigger.
Well, they also modified the sear too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to prevent. They added a second step so that the sear, like if it got any force in the back of the gun, it wouldn't go off.
Okay.
Because a guy did a video on what the fix does, and it's really good. And he's calling bullshit on both of these uncommanded discharges is what they're calling it.
Well,
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
I
Uncommanded.
we talked about that in the Good Morning America last week.
Yeah, exactly.
And they said a cop from Houston
So-
got shot, and she was carrying it in her carry holster, and she got shot in the back.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We're talking about this in this version. Bridge City officer Brittany Hilton tells her story of what she says happened with her P320 discharge that she was carrying it in her purse. It appears to be in what appears to be a Serpa holster. Okay. Which has had its own problems, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Carrying a handgun in a purse, particularly one that isn't designed specifically to carry a firearm, is problematic at best. There's just too much other than paraphernalia, too much other paraphernalia bouncing around in there. But as Officer Hilton says, there's no way anything could have gotten into my purse, into the trigger guard, and pulled that trigger.
Right.
Bullshit.
Except the Serpa that automatically puts something into the trigger guard.
Except
Exactly.
that lipstick, lip gloss, all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, you get a thing of a tube of lipstick right in front of that trigger,
See,
and anything and jumbling around, it could cause the gun to fire.
Well, not only that, but keys or something slender that could get inside the lock mechanism of Serpa and still get to your trigger.
Exactly.
I thought you said it was wrapped in a. It wasn't wrapped in a. It wasn't in a holster. You said it was wrapped in a.
Yeah.
No, that was the other
Oh,
guy.
another one.
That was the other guy.
Okay.
So the woman didn't have it in anything. I thought
No,
you said
she
something
just-
about a Serpa.
He just had it in a Serpa holster in her purse.
Yeah, so the Serpa holster locks, actually has something inside the trigger guard that locks it in front of the trigger. So that in itself is inside the trigger guard. And then you have a gap around that lock that other things can get into and pull the trigger.
Exactly. Okay.
That's why Serpa holsters suck dick.
The ABC report
I looks just fine.
includes an interview with Joshua Harrison, a firearms expert hired by the network to examine the P320's design and give his opinion on its safety. Harrison stated that I have not seen enough to convince me that the upgraded version is dangerous. And he's talking about the P320. Because that's what they're going on. They're trying to go on and saying the P320 is an unsafe and dangerous firearm, that goes off by itself all the time. Because, that's how the media is.
So that there are enough P320s shooting USPSA that we would have been seeing hell of a lot more of that. And it's just not happening. It's just not a thing.
And running around with them in holsters in US, what was it, USPSA?
USPSA, and having it out, as you're running around, and we're, people falling and crap like that.
Right.
It's not a thing.
And I won't, you gotta be honest. You gotta be honest. Yes, it may be secured in a holster, but you're running around. The holster is kind of bouncing off of your belt as you're running around, because that's just how horses work. Okay.
Yeah.
And the issue is, in all that running around with P320s in those shooting matches, Spoos, you got to figure that that at some point a gun would have gone off at that point and shot someone in the foot, or a ricochet and someone got it in the leg. That you would have seen that, like Spoos said, and we lost Spoos. So, but
all I can say is me and the Israelis got it going on.
Anyways, they're saying when ABC's David Scott asked Harrison if it's a mystery what's going wrong with the updated version, though Harrison had just stated the upgraded pistol is endangered, Harrison said, "I do not have an explanation for why the updated version should have complaints from trained individuals. If it's not legal momentum, it would have to be some other mechanism of failure. Keep the phrase legal momentum in mind." Okay? Because here's the version of the report that ran later that night during ABC's Nightline program. I'm not going to play it because of copyright, but they go on to say, note the addition of ominous background music in the second 7-minute longer version. There's no music in the Good Morning America version. The Nightline segment includes an interview with Major Peter Villani, an expert paid witness for Hilton. When Villani was asked for his opinion of the SIG Sauer, he said, "I carry SIGs, I own SIGs, I just don't own a 320, nor would I ever." When Scott asked Villani what he found when he took a P320 apart, he said, "I thought, wow, they need to do their homework. They need to fix this gun." Now, he's paid. Obviously, this guy's being paid to say all this. But, ABC then ran body cam footage of a pre-upgraded 320 firing as a Michigan State trooper exited his patrol car in 2016, with no mention of the results of any subsequent investigation. The second longer version of the ABC story again included comments from Joshua Harrison, the consultant ABC hired to independently assess P320, but this time the sound bites used were different. The second version emphasized the upgrade to fix the drop safety issue and notes that Harrison believes that problem has been fixed. There were a lot of changes, it was expensive, and they would not have done that for no reason at all. In my opinion, the only reason SIG would have done that is if they knew there was a safety problem with the original gun. Otherwise, they would not have done it. Scott says Harrison reviewed the claims in Officer Hilton's lawsuit and said, "It's unclear to Harrison what could now be causing misfires in the upgrading guns." Scott then asked Harrison if he believes the P320 should be removed from the marketplace. Harrison responded, "No, I don't think the upgraded version should be recalled. In fact, I think the previous version should be recalled so that everybody has the upgraded version." Note that Harrison's comment about these claims being the result of legal momentum were edited out of the longer Nightline version of the report. What exactly did Harrison mean by legal momentum? That isn't clear, but it's easy to make an educated guess. He's talking about trial lawyers recruiting clients who've experienced negligent discharges with the P320s and suing the gun manufacturer as ways of gun control, as we've seen lately with Remington. Clients such as law enforcement officers whose negligent discharges could result in their being disciplined or fired unless it can be proven that the gun was at fault. Both versions of ABC report included comments from Officer Hilton's attorney, Jeffrey Bagnall, who said, "It's not credible to claim that people with this amount of training, this amount of skill, are all shooting themselves. We'd have to conclude that there's a problem with the product, not the people." I would say it's a problem with the people and the way they're carrying their firearms. I mean, you don't carry your firearms in a bad holster.
Well, I know, but you shouldn't have to carry a pistol in a certain manner for it not to go off when you don't want it to.
True, but
Right.
but wrapping a gun in a cloth and expecting it not to go off in a gym bag, that's
a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to do it at that point, just take the bag out.
Putting it in a purse and not expecting it to go off, also kind of a bad idea. I mean, it should be in a holster on your hip. Okay? In the Nightlight version, Bagnall says firearms are not subject to federal regulation. They're the only product that is not. If this were a car, a phone, a refrigerator, it would have been recalled long ago. So I think it is unconscionable, given the number of incidents of this gun defectively discharging without a trigger pull, would necessitate that someone order it to be recalled, and only SIG can do that. So basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, make SIG the SIG and the P320 the scapegoat, so those two people can keep their jobs, as well as implement more gun control by suing the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Like Biden said, sue the companies. You remember that?
Yep.
I remember that. So, but again, they also post a video of a guy who a day before put a video on YouTube showing what exactly the upgrade does, where it adds a second shelf onto the Sears, so that if anything were to happen, that second shelf would prevent the striker from going off. So, again, I figured it was we needed to talk about this, because this is what we're fighting with, and this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that are doing stuff like this. We're dealing with people who are suing gun manufacturers because of something some criminal did, just to get rid of guns. So, Warsaw, you got anything to say?
I'll just tell
He's
you
blowing
what.
the dust off his microphone.
No. I say we're upside down times we're in right now.
That's for sure. That is for sure. So, again, yeah, roll call. What are you doing here?
I'm hanging out.
I see that. I see that. You don't normally hang out on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock.
Well, I know I can work some magic sometimes.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Awesome.
So, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't know out of this group if any of you've been in the military other than roll call, but roll call is the expert on the whole Afghanistan situation, as far as I'm concerned. The next story we're gonna go over is one that pissed me off. That I saw. Apparently, they're taking they when they were evacuating people from Kabul, they were evacuating all these Afghanis, and they were evacuating some Americans that could pay for it, I guess, but they left service dogs behind.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I know some service dogs did come out the other day, because Ava had on her podcast, she had a guy that had just got back like a week before this final bullseye, and he actually brought his service dog back with him, and he said there was no way I was going to leave my dog there.
Right, but
So the whole story on that one is there's 51 dogs left. They grabbed a couple of them, and then there was other dogs that were left there. There was a lady sitting there at the base a day or two before it was all said and done, and the United States military went in there told her she had to leave, that she was no longer in charge of these dogs, and they kicked her out of the airport and told her to go away. They didn't even put her on a plane. And I believe she was American.
Yeah.
So they pushed her out of the airport. She leaves, and she's like, well, where am I supposed to go? They just tell her to leave. Well, guess who gets a hold of her? The Taliban gets a hold of her and kills her. And then I guess some of the troops just took the dogs down to the other end of the runway, opened the cages, and let them out. And then got on the plane and left.
Yeah.
So there was dogs still left there.
And that it used to be where no soldier left behind, right? Roll call, even if it was a service dog.
Yeah, even if it's a service dog, because they still have the same rights, just like a police dog.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
a police dog.
It used to be no soldier left behind, but in Biden's America, hell, we'll leave. Not only will we leave 2,000 Americans left in Afghanistan after we pull out, but we'll also leave as many service dogs as we feel like, and we'll fund the enemy army by leaving all of our equipment there too.
Well,
we'll come back to the States and try and take away the American citizens' guns and rights because, hey, that's just how our administration is.
Well, the other half of this story is there was an agreement with some guy. It was like the veteran dog something. I'd have to go back in my notes because I have all this documented. And this guy told the foundation in Kabul, the Animal Rights Foundation there, because they got them there because these dogs come from different facilities that train these dogs to do whatever job there is, whatever I would call it their MOS. That would be your military operating specialty, which is your job. And so he tells these people that he'll come get these dogs. They have a plane on the ground as they speak, blah, 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 blah. So I forgot this guy's name. I got it all documented.
And he never showed up, right?
And he never had anything. And he took their money. And then he took other people's donations. They already had, this other group already, it was verified, it was legitimate, already had a plane on the ground to grab these dogs. Well, I don't know if it was a money issue or I'll do it cheaper. You know how the people undercut people for bids for contracting jobs. Yeah. I don't know if it came to that. Well, they went with the other guy. The other guy just hightailed with the money, and they didn't have any choice but to let these dogs go. So that puts everybody in the situation that we see today. And I'm telling you, this was a total mess. Yeah. And I don't really, and people are going to jump on me. I don't blame Biden for this. I really don't. I blame the parties involved, especially the guy that stole everybody's money. And then this guy said on his website, because he takes everything down after he takes all these, they were talking $600,000. $600,000, that's a lot. That's $500,000 to do this operation. So then,
well, I think it's a bit of a stretch, though, to say that. I mean, just to defend Biden when there was no exit plan. Obviously, there was no exit plan. So who's responsible for that?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Tony, because there was already Americans, retired vets, already going through Kabul and yanking people out of there. So it did not matter. They had this set up before Biden sneezed. It was already in place. They already knew this. This was going on months before anybody started crying foul. Before anybody, I knew about this. I knew about how many people was it? It was a half a unit of Marines pooled their money together to get their translators and their families out of that country under Biden's nose and the brass. And they were told they couldn't do that, and they said, "Screw you," and they did it.
They did it anyways.
And this is months ago.
Yeah,
this was months ago.
Was this 2020?
No, it was Some of it was in 2020, and some was right in the beginning when they started talking about withdrawing.
Yeah,
And then
it was
all
in
of a
July,
sudden,
right?
yeah, when the rumbling started about the Afghans that were translators, and all that jazz. I forgot what they call translators. That's not my specialty. Vets or Veps or some shit like that. But this was going on before the Biden administration even took heed. But
Yeah.
the dog thing is on this guy that stole the money. It's actually on this people that either had the dogs and looked after the dogs and didn't vet you got to vet people. You got to vet people. I do not know one Marine, and I know quite a few Marines on this guy's website. He said he did 700 missions. 700. I do not know any Marine that has 700 missions under his belt. I
Well,
don't.
it's
Maybe
every
you
day
guys-
a mission, though. I mean, is that what he was counting, or what? You know,
I don't know.
Jesus.
Yeah,
he was lying through his teeth, is what roll
yeah,
call.
yeah, and they did not vet him. And dude, I can't totally, utterly, in my own perspective, and you guys can have your own opinion. That's what makes this country great. I cannot blame Biden for this mess up. This mess up was on the people that were there. These are on the people that did not vet these people. And then I can see the fact that it was time to go.
What I'm talking about,
there's nothing you can do.
what I'm talking about was the overall exit plan, not that little part of it. I'm saying when you announce,
regardless, I still blame Biden for leaving those dogs behind.
Well, everybody should have been gone.
Well,
that's my point.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing too.
Someone in the chain of command should have done something, because I was watching that flight radar, and there was one C-17 that flew from all the way from Qatar, and it did a few circuits around Kabul, and then it went all the way back again without even landing. So that went back empty with no one out of Kabul or any dogs or anything.
Exactly.
And Richard, you're right. And guess what? They say quite a few planes did that.
Yeah.
Now, whether I can confirm that or not, I mean, this is hearsay.
You can confirm those tracks on Flight Radar 24, because you can go back and you can look, you can get all the information on each flight that went in and out of there on Flight Radar.
Ooh.
And I witnessed that one flight myself. It flew all the way from Qatar to Kabul, was refueled and everything over Pakistan. It did a couple of circuits around Kabul and then flew all the way back again. And that was like a couple of hours before the last US flights came out.
And you know what the crying shame about that is? You know who's going to investigate anything like that? If that's true, and the stuff that I heard is true, you cannot trust these people to investigate themselves, and you can't trust the people that they get to investigate this to do this honestly.
Right.
This administration is wrong. This administration has fumbled this from the beginning. This administration has lied.
Yeah.
Also, I like to add, I mean, regardless if Biden is held accountable or not, I do have gripes with him. I did not want him to be at the Air Force Base where those soldiers and Marines lost their lives and their families were there greeting them.
Right.
He disrespected them by looking at his watch, more so on his watch than he was respect those who lost their lives.
You know, speaking
the families were pissed as hell.
You didn't hear what happened when he talked to the families? Nice Strike. You got that?
Yeah. Hold on. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. You're getting cart before the horse. Okay. Did you hear what happened when Biden met with the pregnant widow of a Marine that was killed in Kabul the other day?
No.
It did not go well.
How'd it go?
She refused to meet with the president because she held him personally responsible for the death of her husband.
Hell yeah, I would feel the same way.
Yeah, because he didn't provide her husband with the necessary support and reinforcements to prevent him from dying.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Him and Joe Biden have no respect for it these days.
Yep, and you know.
And here's the biggest flaw out of this Night Strike. You know what it is? We negotiated with the Taliban, our own enemy. We do not ever negotiate with our enemy, especially the Taliban.
That agreement under Trump, and under that agreement, it was agreed that no way Al Qaeda was going to come back to Afghanistan. Right? Yesterday on RT, there was footage of Bin Laden's number 2 man coming back to Afghanistan. So they've already broken the agreement.
How could you guarantee? I mean, how could you even think that wouldn't happen in the first place?
Well, this is it.
Exactly.
But this is the
It's
whole
the administration.
the whole deal that was done under that administration.
Who was going to stop them from coming back?
And also, like you told them exactly what day you were going to leave. So then all they had to do was wait, and then it all kicks off. You know.
And also, don't forget the names list of the soldiers and Marines that they gave to the Taliban and Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, see, the thing about that is when he went and met these people at the airport, he got in heated conversations with every single family. And then he threw his hands up. He turned his back, threw his hands up, and walked away.
Well, he did that the other day in another news conference, and it was about when that hurricane hit. And as soon as the media asked him about Afghanistan, he just turned around and I'm not answering, and he walked off.
You know, and like he had a conference today, and he blamed everything on Trump. He's trying to pass the buck, and nobody was having it.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. When he first came into office, his very first day, all he did was sat there and signed and cancelled Trump's, by executive order. Oh, cancel this, cancel that, cancel that. Now, then he's saying, over Afghanistan,
the gun control ones.
Yeah,
he didn't cancel those.
Exactly. But over Afghanistan, he's saying, oh no, there's nothing I can do. It's all Trump's fault. Well,
bullshit.
I call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
You could have done
it's the same now where he's saying like he's going to shit on the UK because we were talking about staying a couple of weeks before Kabul fell, and he obviously he didn't want to do it and no one else did. And then now he's like, the special relationship with the UK is all going to go to shit. Well,
Richard, didn't you also say that you guys, your forces wanted to stay longer?
We wanted to
and resolve the situation.
Well, we wanted to keep. The first thing was a couple of weeks before Kabul fell, we were talking to NATO. So that's not just European countries, but that's like Canada and everybody as well.
That's most of North America, yeah.
Everyone that's in NATO, right, and America.
Yeah.
About let's get some forces in there to support the legitimate Afghan government, right?
Exactly.
So we need like a rapid reaction force, and it would have only taken like 4,000 or 5,000 troops, like they had in Iraq when ISIS kicked off. The Americans and everybody else, they had aircraft there and everything, and they start whacking ISIS, right? So that was turned down. Then the next thing, we need to keep the airport open longer than the 31st of August so we can get more people out. And because like the RAF that were there, they were flying Americans out as well, because there's some of the journalists came out on like British flights, the American journalists, and they're like, oh, thank you for the RAF, for getting us the hell out before we get our throats cut by the Taliban. So the whole thing is just a complete mess, and then to only rely on one airport being open with only one runway is just flipping stupid as well.
That was their big downfall. They let Bagram go. They should have never let the airports go. I read Trump's agreement. I read it word for word, and it was a tentative agreement with conditions.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Taliban broke those conditions when they started from the south and they moved north. That was a condition that they were not supposed to do until all American personnel and the people that helped were gone. They broke that. Joe Biden did nothing.
Exactly.
And Joe Biden took them. When they got to Jalalabad, I've been to Jalalabad. When they got there, I said to my coworkers, I said to people on the internet, I said it to, I'll call out names. I said it to AWR Hawkins, all those people at Breitbart. I said, this guy is messing with this agreement is wrong. And these guys laughed, and all their followers called me names. And guess what? They were sitting on the front steps of Kabul in 3 days. Kabul fell without a shot being fired.
Yeah. Well, that Guyani, but that president that did a bunk with all that money, his staff were on their lunch break and then came back and then wondered where the fuck he was. And it's like, well, where is he? And he'd done a bunk out the country, and that's their president. That's how quickly.
Let me ask roll call something. How many guys troops would have taken to set up a perimeter like a half click out from the airport and have a zone where people could come in, not the immediate, right? I mean, this is the kind of exit plan I'm talking about, where you have a perimeter, an outer perimeter and an inner perimeter that protects the air. And then there's areas for people to come to safety so that they're not jumping on the sides of the, C-130s or whatever as they're taking off. How many troops would that have taken? And that's the exit plan I'm talking about that failed.
Yeah.
You have
how many troops would that have taken?
You have to. I haven't seen that place in 17 years, so I don't know what the terrain is like. You got to understand that's 17 years of war in all these places. I don't know if they probably don't look the same as the way I saw them, because they have upgraded in some capacity.
Right. Well,
but if you're looking at this, you need at least 2 brigades to hold those airports. And I'm talking. You know how big a brigade is? Dude, this is the invasion times 2 to hold those airports. Because I'm going to tell you, these people that are on TikTok, on social media, on YouTube, hanging their flags, their black flags, and talking about no quarters and talking about all their jazz. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says. You could tell the difference between who you were fighting on a battlefield in that place. And that's the big trick. And now you see it. Whoa, ISIS is getting into the Taliban's ranks, blah, blah, blah. You knew who were the guys. If you got pinned down and you were stuck and they were starting to maneuver you, guess what? You were fighting people that were trained. You were fighting people that were not the Taliban. You were fighting outsourced help on the other side. And those people that are hanging their black flags, guess what? These people are taking no quarters either if they catch you. Yeah. That's how you knew who you were fighting, because the Taliban would take pop shots, and then all of a sudden IEDs came into the play. Dude, these people didn't know how to do this stuff. It was all an outside menace. It was all foreign fighters at one point. And that's what you're seeing again. You're seeing it time again.
This is be like another, like, say, Benghazi, but it's on steroids.
Yeah. It is basically Benghazi and Iraq combined.
Dude, I'm telling you, this was fouled
I hate to say,
up.
but Iraq was a better exit plan than this.
And I'm telling you, you could hold these airports, you could hold them, and you might not need a brigade because of air power and that kind of sophistication. But I'm telling you, when they took certain spots, and you can go on the internet and you can find this stuff, I say go use DuckDuckGo. Don't get thrown into the mix of all the weapon caches that were hidden all around. I just seen a video tonight that was just sent to me where special forces just went back into Afghanistan and hijacked 2 of our Blackhawks back. Yeah. I'm telling you, they are lying to you. These people that are on TikTok, that are on the internet telling you that the Taliban doesn't know how to use this stuff. Tell me how there was a Black Hawk helicopter flying over that place.
Speaking of that, before we go on, we got some more stuff to go on, roll call. But with that momentum, I'd like to show everyone what the tally was of what was left. Okay, this is the current tally that has been posted out there. Apparently, we left 22,174 Humvees. We left 634 M117s, 155 mixed pro mine-proof vehicles, 169 113 armored personnel carriers, 42,000 pickup trucks and SUVs, 64,363 machine guns.
Saws.
Okay. 126,295 pistols. And here's the kicker. 358,530 full automatic rifles.
M16s and M4 carvings.
M16s and M4s. probably some others mixed in there too.
Scars, maybe.
Scars maybe too, because they use scars over there as well. But 358,000. Just with that number right there, you made the Taliban like the lowest man on the totem pole in the world to like the third most well-armed army in the world.
So they probably took the scars and left the M16 behind.
A night strike I'd like to add to this. So whoever brings up that gun control is a good idea, dude. We just literally armed and literally gave the Taliban a free pancake. Don't bring up like the part where we got debunked about, hey, gun control is good about this. No, we just literally armed a freaking terrorist group right now.
Not only that, they gave them 176 artillery pieces. As Brokaw said, they had to steal a couple Blackhawks back, but they left 33 Blackhawks there. Okay.
Well, I'm going to throw this into this chart. You got to understand, man. The Taliban did not get all of it. They didn't get all of it, and the people that press that misconception are duping you. They did not get all of it because there's pictures of the Northern Alliance. Remember, I don't know if you guys are young enough to understand who the Northern Alliance was.
We remember. We know.
Those were the dudes I was with.
Those
Afghan fighters that I was with. Was the Northern Alliance. They captured, I think, at least 3 depots from the information I've gotten. So you got to understand, those weapons are distributed through the whole country. But yes, the Taliban did capture the majority of it. But this stuff is delivered, signed, sealed, and delivered to a lot of these fringe groups. Like we have Antifa and the Proud Boys. Well, they have that same kind of fringe attitude over there.
Roll call. Figure this: if the Taliban even got a quarter of what was left of those armaments, that's still enough to make them a clear and present danger to the Middle East. Period.
Hell, they could try to take over Israel if they wanted to.
Exactly.
Oh, they can't do.
They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that.
They don't have the ability. They don't have the logistical capability.
Israel's got more rockets than them. Don't worry about it.
But the point is, they could have the potential of trying to do it, though.
They'd have to do a land
war. What they can do is sell on the black market over to the other people that are fighting Israel. And that's what happened. These weapons are end up in different parts of the world,
Exactly.
I bet you Hamas is on Gunbroker. Hamas is probably on Gunbroker looking for it.
I know. Maybe now I can find one of those FNM4 collector's editions I've been trying to get for the last 2 years that have been for sale, huh?
Hey, Travis, maybe I can finally get one of those F2000s.
Yeah. I want an APC, and you can too.
Hey,
I want a Toyota truck.
All right. And Warsaw has something he wants to bring up that contribute to this, because I heard about this, and this really pissed me off the other day when I heard about it. But Warsaw, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us about the topic you got.
All right. Roll call. I don't know if you heard of the Marine that got temporarily fired for his position. Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. He's a 17-year-old Marine vet, and basically he got kicked out of the.
You mean a 17-year vet?
Yeah, he basically got kicked out of his command for calling out his higher commands and actually not, basically telling, hey, I demand you be held accountable for what's been going on right now.
Oh yeah, he's the one that called the entire chain of command out, calling the leaving of Afghanistan the biggest joke the United States Army's ever done.
He's like a captain, right?
Yeah,
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel.
He's done 17 years.
He called the military high command out and told them that that somebody should be held accountable for this, and they basically either fired him or they dishonorably discharged him for it.
Yeah.
I have his resignation papers. Yeah. I have a picture of his resignation. He turned them in today.
You heard about that?
I already got all the information on this guy, and if you look at his latest YouTube video, that should put some kind of thinking in your head. Because if you go back to my video about the other numbskull that started speaking, that chick talking about
right.
The
my God.
Law and the Insurrection Act, I made a video about her. And this is the problem with some of these guys in the military. And this guy is a 17-year vet who was in Ramadi at the time, burning shit piles of crap in barrels and all that jazz. He
Right.
knew what he was doing at this point. But when I look at his latest video and I look at the last statement of his letter where he tells them that he has no faith in the upper management, in the core, and I'll post it. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll take a screenshot and post it on the internet. His last statement is really concerning, and his statement on YouTube is concerning. When these people do this, you don't get reported. I said it in that video, and I've had a brief conversation with that chick that said something in her live chat the other day, and I still I saw the whole video. You have to watch the whole video, not those little snippets at the end of that video. You have to watch the whole video to see that she did a piss poor job explaining it and insulting half the country. But you got to look on the other hand of why she's explained the way she is, because of the lady that she dubbed the video for. Okay? For him, for this guy, he knew what was going to happen. He said it in that first video that he made. He knew it was going to happen. And I'm telling every service member, whether you're woke, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're male, whether you're female, if you are going to speak out of context, and if you're going to speak that way, you take off that uniform and don't do it on their time. You are still going to get reprimanded, but you won't get it as bad. When you're in your rank and file and you're saying these things, the hammer will drop. The hammer will drop. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why I say it, if they give this guy dishonorable discharge, we all know it by filling out 4473, what happens to these people.
Yep.
And with him saying what he said at his second video, that he's going to bring this mother effer down, you got to understand, bro, you keep on digging yourself a hole. And I understand where he's coming from. I understand his frustration. I understand, he's got 17 years on my 3 years. And that's a huge discrepancy. Plus, he was in the Marines, the tip of the spear, tip of the iceberg, as they say. And he knew what he was doing when he said, I'll throw my 17 years on the table, and I don't care if they take my command. Well, what do you think they did? They took it. They relieved him of command. They took his job, and he got reprimanded for it.
I'm just surprised he didn't get a court-martial for this.
We don't know, because he still
It's still up in the air.
Yeah, he's still on contract. They have to accept his resignation, or they can just dishonorably discharge him.
What's his name be? I don't know what his name.
They can give him an Article 15 for it.
He was speaking out against the military high command for the saying somebody should be held accountable for the shitstorm that was the evacuation of Afghanistan.
Okay.
That's what it was.
That chick should have took that behind closed doors and asked somebody or grabbed some kind of advice from somebody around her. That guy, he knew what he was doing. And if he felt that much, he should have went behind closed doors and talked to somebody. But he chose to take this path. I cannot go back for this man and tell him not to do it. He makes his own actions. We get rewards and consequences in this life for our actions. And this is a consequence of his action that he's going to have to face. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking at my vest. I'm not throwing my vest on for this guy.
Right.
And you might say something to the effects of, well, you're not American. You're not a patriot. No, because I know nothing about this man. And his last couple of statements and his statement on his resignation papers is alarming, because we're seeing this more and more out of the military. So when that lady tells you, well, I'm gonna turn my gun on you, what does that make me think about the whole kit and caboodle? What does that make me think about my armed forces? There's either very, very upset people in up and down ranks, or there's a lot of woke people, and they won't have a problem. Because I'm going to tell you, in that girl's live chat, she quoted Beto O'Rourke and said, I don't believe people should have AK-47s or AR-15s. She is anti-gun, she is a liberal, and she is a woke person. And there's a lot of it. And she's an 88 Mike. from what I gather nowadays, because the military changes their calls. They change their calls. Like mine's 12 Bravo Papa, and it's not that anymore. And
Well-
her 88 Mike, and that's a truck driver. This is a truck driver saying this. Granted, your first job is to be a soldier, and then comes your MOS. But this is coming from someone that I don't know if she served out of country. I don't know if she served on a combat field, a theater of war. But I'm going to tell you one thing: she has training, and all these tough guys. I dare you to go over there and try and take a swing at her. So you got to understand. Look at all the disgruntled people in the military.
I got to ask you, who's this person?
Her.
What was her name? Do you remember?
I think it was Nuggets Chicken or something like that on TikTok.
But all right, I think I know what you're talking about. But basically, here's the thing: if she's
I remember the tag on her military uniform.
I was going to go
Officer Bronson, I think it was.
I was going to explain this. But basically, if she swore an oath and she signed and put on a uniform, that whole idea of her destroying the Second Amendment, that's a contradiction of her oath.
No, that is a violation of oath. And every senator that introduces gun control, votes for gun control, and implements it in the United States government is a traitor of the United States government and is a violator of the oath of office. But do we ever hold one of them accountable? Hell no.
I think, and this is the point I tried to make early in this discussion, was that this is a problem with leadership from the top down, right? I mean, right? What this guy's beef he's got something to do. His beef was with the exit plan, right? Well, who is the leader? Who is the leader of these four? You can say, oh, it's not Biden's fault, but it is. It's a philosophy issue. When you've got a leader like Biden who doesn't give a crap, you're going to have a bunch of generals who don't give a crap, apparently. So whatever this guy's beef is, he's aiming it at the wrong person, the wrong people.
Well, this is the problem that you had.
Biden is incompetent. That's the main reason over there.
We all know that. That's besides the point.
Yeah, but this is the problem you had. Like the other year when that aircraft carrier commander spoke out about like the people getting corona on his ship, and then he was relieved. And he spoke out when he was in uniform. It's like the whole Benghazi thing. I mean, that didn't come out until after it had, like all the bullshit to do with it, after it had happened, and then those guys spoke out about it. And then obviously the book was written, and then the film was made, and everyone knows a lot more about what went on there. So like you say,
those specific things like war crimes or whatever, those are specific actions, right? But to go do something like this guy did over just a generalization of, what was it? There was nothing specific, right? If you're gonna do it in uniform, you got to say, I saw this guy whack this, you know what I mean? It's some kind of war crime. Right? You can't just come up with a broad generalization in uniform and just come out and say I'm retiring over some whatever. It's a leadership issue.
Well, here's the thing, though, Tony. In the video I watched, he did it because there's another Marine that he was higher commanding officer that actually basically was his mentor. His mentor actually commented to him, and he said, if you don't resign, you actually have no honor. And that was the thing that caught in his mind. It says, is he doing the honorable thing? And he actually in his mind was like, I don't care anymore. If I lose my position, I'll lose everything. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what set him off. Some guy that, he was trained by told him that basically, you should resign your position because you're a coward. But I look at it this way too. Even though his statements that he's been making they're questionable at most.
But you got to agree though at the same time, there's something about honor.
That's the kind of guy that you want in there. That's the kind of guy that shouldn't be sitting at that desk. That's the kind of guy that should be in these meetings. That's the kind of guy that should be putting down the smack on what should be going on. But on the other hand,
you want somebody that wants to hold someone accountable for their actions.
That's what you want. That's what being a leader is. That's what being a leader is. You're going to be held accountable to the standards that you put forth with your soldiers.
You got to be willing to take the consequences, and you got to be willing to make up for your actions.
Dude, guys, I ain't trying to piss people off and things like that. But
No, we know.
I'm seeing this a lot more. And now that that chick has come out and done it, this guy's done it. If you have a TikTok app, you will find a lot of soldiers speaking out. And it's almost created a division in the United States Army. You have people that agree with what's his name, Scheffler or Schiffler,
Schnappler
him, and then you have the ones that agree with her.
Bronson.
And that's what you don't want is division between the military.
Right.
Could you imagine that? Could you
It's
imagine that?
That's
caused a
division in the
weakness.
ranks, right?
But before you had this with Obama when he started bombing like and
Syria.
Syria, when you had like people in uniform, they were covering their faces saying, I am not going to be used for an air force to support ISIS or whatever, to bomb the Syrian government. But none of them went on record as this is who I am. They were all doing it like incognito in uniform,
Those are the examples I was talking about too, Richard, where those are specific, right? You can just point to something.
Yeah.
You just don't go in uniform and go say, oh, the whole system's screwed up, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to use that out, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back further. Let's really take a big bite out of this. Let's go back further. Let's look at Gitmo. And remember when, I don't know if you guys are, maybe Tony is, remember when the pictures were released from Gitmo and they tortured those prisoners?
Yeah.
That was under direct order from Rumsfeld to do stuff like that. And nobody, guess who was held accountable? The soldiers were, they were put on trial.
Well,
and they were sentenced for that.
Yeah, it's the same as Abu Ghraib in Iraq as well.
How about we go further? How about Vietnam? There were so many atrocities we did, and actually nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and that's what a lot of people, they call me a radical. They call me an anarchist. But I tell them, when is the time going to come when all these politicians are held accountable for their actions and it stops falling on the American populace for once, and then it trickles down to the American soldier, regardless of branch and service? When is it ever going to be these people that are sitting in the cat's bird nest looking down and then just letting the shit roll downhill so that everybody else takes the blame and they never take responsibility or get consequences for the piss poor actions they take? And you can call me a radical, you can call me unpatriotic, you can call me whatever it is, but when have we ever seen these people held responsible for the actions that they've taken? And this has started way before Daddy Bush, and it started way before Bush Jr. with the intervention into these countries and the quagmires they've got us into in the past, what we've seen now, and they have never been held accountable. I have never seen anybody, Condoleezza Rice or even Colin Powell, take heat for their blatant lies that they sat on that council and they told these people about weapons of mass destruction. I have never seen these people be held in a tribunal. I've never seen their rank pulled. I have never seen them be held accountable for their lies and their actions that led to the war in Iraq. And you know what? I'm tired of it. And that's what I said at the end of my thing yesterday, my video I said yesterday. When are we going to hold them accountable? When are we going to step over the boundary of rolling over and getting patted on the belly and actually hold these people that sit in these positions accountable for the actions that they take?
We just have to be careful, roll call, that we don't tear down the institution while we're taking out bad people.
And that's the problem. That's the problem we're in now.
Yeah.
Right. There has to be a distinction, right? There has to be rules set up where, if you're going to take action like the guy did, to have a specific process for it. But you don't want a bunch of people trying to take down the U.S. military over, over problems that we have with individuals.
Well, I'm going to throw this little tidbit that I got yesterday from a reliable source. Come January 6th, there's a couple of assholes that are putting together another rally at the Capitol. And these people are going to have, from their words, special speakers to do this. And I highly encourage these people not to do it. And not only that, they are going to actually implement something about January 6th. And I'm going to tell you, if the conservatives go with these people and they actually have some kind of backing to put this thing on, I'm going to tell you right now, all hell is going to break loose. You are going to see a huge breakdown, not only for the Capitol Police, but the government in general, if these people think they're going to do this. And I'm sorry to say it, there's a lot of Trump people that are talking about this. A lot of people that were around him for the beginning, like Steve Bannon and all these other people that lost their jobs because they're stupid and they have no critical thinking whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you, if this stuff comes true, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't. And that's some of the rumblings I'm seeing around the internet, and that's scary.
Yeah,
And that's scary.
I would think that they would be more prepared for that type of thing this time. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to. I think they were sort of caught off guard by June 6th a bit. I don't think they will again, unless they just want it to get out of hand.
I think there was people in that crowd that encouraged those people to do what they did in that building. Personally,
yeah.
Well,
there were subgroups. You had the little old ladies out on the grass walking their dogs, and then you had the others who were breaking glass.
You got the initial encouragement. I think was done by someone. Which side I don't know, but a lot of people just walked into the building following the crowd. A lot of people didn't do any damage. There was only a few people that did damage. And the other thing that pisses me off is the media is always on about all these Nazi flags that were flying there. There was, if you look at all the footage, there was no Nazi flags at that event.
There's a Confederate flag though.
Yeah, Confederate is not Nazi though. And
there was scary.
There was South Vietnamese, there was Trump flags, there was American flags or whatever. There was no actual World War II Nazi flags at that event. And I've seen it on all different media that we get here, whether it's Al Jazeera, RT, BBC, whatever, and then online as well. There was no actual Nazi flags at that event.
I have found it strange, though, the different little cults that have popped up around Trump, to be honest with you, like the QAnon people.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how you can become so cultish about any one person. And I think those are probably the types of people you're talking about, right? Roll call, those.
Yeah, it's the people that are trapped in cognitive dissonance of the left and right paradigm, and the people that are stuck in cult of personality. Yeah. I highly encourage everybody to get out of the cult of personality. Stop determining left or right, blue or red, donkey or elephant, and start thinking as an American. Start thinking of different ways. All these people are crying about it. You got the Proud Boys slapping the little children around there in Portland. But what I see is midterms are coming up, and then we're going to be voting for the same scumbags. And there's nobody new on these tickets. We need to organize this way. We need to start finding new people to put in these positions. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's what we have to understand. It's never going to be fantastic. And people are always going to bend the knee to the dollar bill. But as long as we can put people in these positions.
Is that my headphones?
Yeah, Ro, you're coming in a little low. Can you?
It sounds like you're on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost your stereo or whatever.
Is it okay
now? No, it sounds just the same.
You're so far away.
Oh.
There, right there.
Well,
I am. Now you're back. Now you're back.
Right.
Now you're back. You're back. Keep going.
I'm just saying. I think there's better things that we can do. I think everybody's so blindsided by critical race theory, by aliens, and all the other garbage that is out there, and we're not looking at what needs to be done and putting real Americans in these positions. Again, we are going to be voting for the Pelosi's. We are going to be voting for the Turtle Boys. We are going to be voting for the the Rubios. We need to get. You want to really mop this up? Get these people out of office. Get them retired. They got a pension. They got private security. The thing is, they will never give up their power. And the election, I'll tell you what Stalin said. It ain't about controlling the people. It's about controlling the people that count the votes. And that's what we get under control.
Now, what happens? What happens if we don't vote? Like, could it actually be nullifying the voting system?
No,
I can tell you that, man. I'm not that smart.
you can't not vote because there's too many illegal votes to make up. You know what I mean? I don't mean to say
Can you
illegal.
make an election mute though? That's the question. Can you like literally not vote and make an election mute and like it's not they have that option for voting?
Yeah, but you need a lot of people to
Because
do
you
that.
can't convince everybody to not vote.
Yeah.
You better populace you could try.
That's the problem. You need
They
millions.
would think you were crazy for even thinking of it.
Yeah, but you need millions not to do it. Else, like if not, the other side just gets in, and then
think about it. If we didn't vote, we wouldn't have the progression where we have the people already in power, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, look at it this way. Did anybody hear about the truckers? There's another story for you. Anybody hear about the truckers, about them going on strike today and all that?
I've been hearing about that.
Yeah.
They did it today, and what did it prove? It proved absolutely nothing. I mean, in 1978, it succeeded, but in today's world, in today's society, how modern we are, and I said this, because I listened to this guy, Tom Summers. He's like a trucker radio host, and he does a show on YouTube that you can call into. And a lot of the truckers were talking about this. And I said it to these people in the chat and other people that were making videos. Guess what they'll do to you? They'll do to you what they've done to the American people since I was a child, and they'll just outsource your job. Yeah. And you won't have a job at that point. So I mean, I give credit where credit was due. I watched about 4 or 5 videos. Some were up in Michigan, some were in other parts of the country where the truckers pulled over. Some of them did what they call, I guess, a slow roll. I'm not a trucker aficionado here, but they just rolled real slow down the highways, and the cops are all pissed off.
What they do is they get side by side and go real slow, so you can't get around them.
I guess they did it in Australia too.
Yeah,
I guess
different groups have done that here before as well. It's like a demonstration. If they actually stop the traffic, it's illegal. But if they just go slowly, then there's nothing the police can do, because it's not actually, it's a demonstration rather than if they actually stop all the traffic, then it's viewed as an illegal action
instead of a riot, right?
Yeah, that's basically, it's viewed as an illegal action if you like physically stop all the traffic. All
right. Well, guys, I think it's time to wrap this up, but I think we had a very productive conversation about all the topics we went over tonight.
Yeah, it's good. It was a good chat.
I think we really hit on a lot of important things that are going on right now that we need to be aware of. So, guys, let's go through the room. Let's let everybody say their final words or their plugs, and let's get out of here. So, Richard, you're up first. You got anything for us?
Well, just be good to people. Don't go out tomorrow and be a dick. Like we got enough dicks already, making a mess everywhere.
It's funny considering your name is Richard.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got people losing their homes and everything due to storm or forest fire or whatever. Think of these people. Not everyone is an arsehole out there. Depending on what state they're in or whatever country,
Okay, that good words. Good words. Yeah. Tony, any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom?
No, it was kind of interesting having roll call here because you were talking before. You were talking about the Afghanistan thing, and when he popped in, I thought, okay, we have somebody that's actually been there, so that was good.
Yeah. Well, I invite roll call all the time. When I can be there, I'm there for roll call when we do rants and raves, and when he's able to come in here and hang out and give us his perspective, he always does. And I encourage everyone who joins the panel to give their perspective when we're talking about heated topics like this.
Well, it's easy to sit around an armchair quarterback. It's nice to have somebody who's actually been there.
I know exactly. So, all right. Travis.
Look, man, I played a lot of Call of Duty, so I understand combat. I mean, I've got all the DLC, I've got all the skins. I mean, I've got that Ronin dude from YouTube. I've got his skin when I play multiplayer. I'm down, right?
That comment wasn't directed at you, Travis.
I'm just messing with you. I'm
armchair
quarterback.
I backed roll call up in Afghanistan in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I did it.
Yeah, roll call's probably got a character in COD somewhere. I just haven't unlocked him yet. So
yeah.
But no, man, this has been a great show tonight. It's been a good talk, and I mean, there's always more stuff about Afghanistan I think that needs to be discussed. And I know we hear a lot of the same stuff over again, but there's new things that have popped up.
There's
stuff about the dogs, man.
About it because people are pissed off.
Yeah, the dog thing is even worse. Looking at that tally of inventory and stuff. I mean, that scares me, and I hate to say it, but it's true because of the potential of where those weapons can end up and who can be affected by them. It can affect anybody anywhere. And
let's be honest. Everybody is pissed off about this. Even the media isn't letting this go either.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Which is surprising.
That we're talking about it. Yeah. And if anybody thinks that the Taliban's not going to figure out how to run an M4, you have no clue. All right. Maybe they don't have the hardware to support that equipment.
If they can get those Toyota SUVs going, I'm pretty sure they can figure out how to use how to use a Humvee or anything else.
Yeah. And when things happen, I'm kind of curious how they're going to throw back on the American people. Are they going to use that as a push for gun control? God, I hope not. If some of those things end up being used in crimes and stuff. So anyway, man, it's just scary times are going in, but just keep your heads up. And that's all I got to say, man. Just keep your rifles on standby.
All right,
man.
Warsaw, buddy. Thanks for coming and thanks for bringing up that topic. That was a good topic.
Yeah, no problem, man. Final words here, I'll tell you.
Just tell us. Oh, my God.
God save the U.S.
You could have just said it. It would have sounded better coming from
something a Russian would never say.
That's Polish, not Russian.
It's Polish. It's a little different than Russian. Just a little.
All right.
Just tad. Travis, just like Czech is a little different than German.
Than Polish. Yeah. They're neighbors, but yeah.
Right. All right. Roll call, buddy. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for giving us your perspective, and thanks for completely ranting. I don't know if we have anything to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go on as much as I did, but there's some things that I'm passionate about, and when I look and see some of the people that go around and, like Tony said, and they Monday morning quarterback stuff, and I've gone to the wall when it was here. If you didn't know, there's a wall for Afghanistan and Iraq veterans. And when I look at the names of my friends there, and I think about when I left, and I sat in my apartment, and I had a call from my buddy who was blown up by an IED. It puts stuff into perspective, and I don't like infighting with Americans and all that jazz, and I'm passionate about it.
Where is that memorial specifically?
It roams around the country. I'm not really 110% sure where it's at. I mean, it's just like the Vietnam memorial. Sometimes they'll take pieces from that and they'll bring it all over the place, or they'll just pack the whole damn thing up. It hasn't been back in my area for quite some time. But that, it's things like that really rings true to me. And, everybody says, think about the soldiers. Don't think about them. Think about their families. Those dudes died doing their job. That's what they were there to do. I feel for the families, but, that's who you should be thinking about. That's where your thoughts and prayers go. What the president did or allegedly did from what's coming out from those families, I think that's highly, highly disrespectful. If it was me, I would have just took the shit that they were throwing at me and just, shut my mouth. Yeah, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. But thanks for having me.
Also, like to add, it's not just disrespect; it's also dishonorable.
Oh man, it's pretty bad when the commander in chief turns your back.
Yep.
On you, man. And I feel for the families. Whether they'll get closure or not, I don't know. I just hope people close to them are really paying attention to them. Don't forget about the other veterans that this kind of took a little bit of emotional sting to. Go call the crisis veteran crisis hotline. I know Ghost talks about it. My email's always out there for veterans that watch this show or they just come across it. There's no time table of when you can call me if you need someone to talk to. But thanks for having me. It's great to be on the show once in a while.
Awesome. George.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for jumping in.
And I say, check me out on Instagram at South Texas AR Guy for some funny memes and stuff. And hopefully I'll start posting stuff. Let's see. Words of wisdom. I was thinking of La curiosidad mató el gato, meaning curiosity killed the cat. And we say this whenever we want to discourage a person that's excessive in interests in other people's business, especially our own.
Exactly. So. That's my BM. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, via con Dios, mi amigos, and yeah, shall not be infringed. So we will see you guys.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista. Hasta luego. We'll
Ciao.
see you guys tomorrow night with Roll Call 219 on a Ransom Raise. If we have any Ransom Raise left after tonight, Roll Call.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna find something to bitch about.
I'm sure he's got a whole docket left. He only gave us half of what he has. You know.
We just got a sample of that goodness.
Yeah.
So, but we'll try and be back for the Thursday and Friday this week. Last week Thursday wasn't. Thursday didn't pan out, so we didn't do it. But this week we're going to try and get Thursday and Friday back. So with that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Adios.
I'll come back now. You hear?
Adios, Felicia. Te amo.
Adios, Felicia. Te amo mucho. Mucho.
Dame el amor.
Sí, porque me
Hashtag give them the bird.
Give the bird. Dale el dedo.
Ven aquí with the papi.
The bird is a word.
How do I turn this damn thing off?
Yeah, but it's not the red button
program.
Don't touch the red button.
Jeremy Clarkson